at that. Already like 35 emails and came in since the last time. Hey guys, what's going on? Happy Thursday. That is, it has been crazy. Hey, childcare Brander. I miss you guys. All the way over there on the other side. Gotta make it back to the A. Guys, what is going on? It's been a minute since I've hopped on live. My world has been crazy for the past 2 weeks. I'll say give or take. So I said, let me hop on here today. I'm going to be talking a little bit about some systems and really giving y'all a real life story, okay? Because it has been so crazy. What is going on? Hey, Tasha Carter. Hey, Cutie Pie. Little. Can y'all hear me? Because sometimes Instagram do not want to let you be great when the audio goes out. What is going on? Thank y'all for joining in. We are literally in a brand new month, okay? And not only are we in a brand new month, it is literally almost the end of the first quarter, which means taxes are already around the corner, okay? But I really wanted to hop on here today, guys, and sprinkle some great good energy. And I really wanted to hop on here today to talk to you guys a little bit about some systems, okay? And why having them in your childcare program administratively is like, it's a lifesaver, okay? So I kid y'all not. If y'all seen or y'all didn't see, I obviously went on vacation about 2-3 weeks ago. And in the midst of me going on vacation, what did I do as any other entrepreneur per usual? I took my laptop with me. Even though I said I wasn't going to. But I took my laptop with me, which is like my baby, to run all of this stuff, because me trying to maximize my time, I was like, oh, while I'm in the air for 2-3 hours, I'm going to be getting done what I got to get done. So, boom, I don't got to, talk to nobody, do any of that great stuff. And what happened in the space of me taking my laptop out of nowhere, and when I tell y'all nowhere, I literally mean nowhere, my entire MacBook crashed, okay? And when I say crash, I mean it literally just blacked out on your girl. Like, and I thought that it just died. So it wasn't until like a week later when I actually was like, all right, let me plug the laptop up, get a little bit of juice, get back into the flow, into the office, get on this laptop completely crashed, okay? And in the midst of this laptop crashing, I'm thinking like, oh, the screen's just broke. Something's wrong with it, it's not working, all that great good stuff. No. Took it to, what some people call Geek Squad at Best Buy, and they was like, your laptop is gone. It's a done-deal, okay? If any of you guys know, y'all know, I live and breathe by my laptop. Everything is on my laptop. From Educated Mind stuff to Yolanda's Kids Corner, our childcare stuff, and I'm in the middle of a yellow book financial audit, okay? So you can imagine my level of frustration with this MacBook crashing. And it wasn't just that my MacBook crashed, like as if, I just was on it and I didn't have anything else on it. No, the MacBook crashed and I wasn't that upset. And one of the reasons why I honestly wasn't that upset, I had a 2019 MacBook. And one of the things that I learned for anybody out there that has MacBooks in 2019, I guess apparently during that time, right before the pandemic, they were using some kind of chip that was not made by internal. It was from Intel. They were using like an Intel service provider for their chips into their MacBooks. And so because of that, they've been slowing down the processing and all that great good stuff. MacBook crashed and nothing you can do. Why? Because the warranty had expired, like always with a car. But I'm going to tell y'all, the reason for me telling y'all this story is not just on a Storytell Thursday. The reason for me telling y'all this story is the reason why I truly was not worried at all about picking up where I left off is because of the systems that I have. Okay? So everything is in the cloud. No matter whether you use Google, your Google Drive, whether you use some kind of onboarding system, whether you use some kind of student files, staff files, employee files to manage all that stuff, I wasn't able to get my computer back. But I didn't lose anything. I mean, I might have lost like some things here or there, but not nothing that can't be recovered. But I remember a time when my previous MacBook from college crashed. It was like after 5 years, which is normal. But this time it was 3 years. That is not normal, okay? And I was done. Like I literally had to start my computer over. I had no documents. I had no files. I had no policies. I had nothing on my financial statements. I had none of my tax returns. I had none of the stuff that I needed to move and shake as a CEO. And so I get on here to tell you guys today 3 baseline systems that you really, really want to make sure that you're using in your childcare program. I don't care whether this is something I teach all the time. I don't care whether you got a family-based daycare or whether you have a large state-of-the-art center-based childcare program. You need to have some kind of cloud-based system for all of your important documents. From memos that you send your parents, so you can use Google Drive. Like the drive is free. I pay more for my drive to have multiple drives and more storage. But if something happens to your computer today or tomorrow, if something happens to your office today or tomorrow, about 7 years ago, one of our buildings was broken into and our office was vandalized and money was stolen. And so imagine if I didn't have, at that time, I didn't have anything in iCloud. I literally started from scratch and trying to put back to the pieces of everything. So I really get on here to tell you guys from my personal experience on this laptop crashing is you need to have a cloud-based system, okay? It's great to have it in your file cabinet. It's great to have it on your laptop, but if you do not have a cloud-based, hey, Miss Melody, if you do not have a cloud-based system for your childcare program or any business, because I got multiple businesses, right? If you don't have a cloud-based, you're done. Like the thought of pulling records and pulling this and pulling that, all that great stuff, you need a cloud-based system, okay? So have some baseline level of Google or Google Drive or iCloud system. So we use Childware for our student files. Like that is how we upload emergency contacts, agreements, dates, clearances, all that great good stuff. That's our system for the student files, okay? Now let's go to the management. Obviously, we use QuickBooks with our CPA. So CPA is that's our financial iCloud. I can access that from wherever, okay? Because I got multiple, if y'all saw behind the screen, I got computers over here. Now I'm using 2 computers. I'm no longer listening into one solid computer. But in that space, that's what we use for finance. Now here goes the Google Drive, okay? When I tell y'all I was never keen, like, Google Drive, it's there. No. When I learned and mastered the Google Drive, and when I taught my clients how to master the Google Drive with all of their stuff, when I tell you, I could go every business has its own Google Drive. So I have 3 businesses. So every single business has its own Google Drive. And when I tell y'all the level, I literally picked up in my yellow book audit, my financial audit rating, I picked up right where I left off as if I didn't got a new laptop. So this is my new baby. This is my nice brand new laptop. I had the silver when I decided to go blue. I was like, I'm tired of silver. But this is my new laptop, and now what I've decided to do is I'm not running all 3 businesses on one laptop. Because if any of y'all work on a laptop or a computer, I'm one of those people, anybody that's ever been on a share screen, Zoom, 2-hour maximum, I got 1,000 tabs open. Why? Because I'm running 3 businesses. And so I be on a computer a lot, okay? So I've decided to split it into 2. So therefore I can have multiple computers for this business and multiple computers for that business, okay? So make sure you have some systems in your childcare-based program, specifically on an admin level, because any of you guys know your daycare cannot operate without the paperwork. And as the owner, you get tired of looking for this computer and this file cabinet and this binder, my home office, my daycare office. You got to get organized, okay? So that brings me to my next space of talking about systems. Systems. We are literally finishing up quarter 1. I think. Can y'all hear me? Let me see. I didn't put my phone on Do Not Disturb, so I have absolutely no understanding how y'all could call. Let me know if y'all can hear me before I go on, because sometimes when calls come through, the audio messes up. All right. So In the space of systems, guys, I am getting on here. We are going to be talking today specifically about your hiring system, okay? So many of you guys don't, oh yeah, I say yes. All right, thanks y'all, because I hate talking and y'all can't hear me and I gotta go out and come back. All right, so today I want to talk a little bit about your hiring systems, okay? And when I say hiring systems, I really mean, I'm gonna take y'all back about 5 years ago, and y'all share with me, in this space, every time you bring somebody on board, like every time you're thinking about looking at an interview, from the moment that you look at that resume to the time that you actually hire them, is your hiring system documented, written out, and laid out? And can anybody else do it if you are not at your childcare facility? That's really what I want to know. That means when you can say yes, it can be duplicated without your presence. That really means you have a real system in your childcare program. Not that only you can do the hiring, not that only you can do the interview, not that only you can do the phone call, not that only you know what to say. Do you have a documented hiring kit that is your go-to regardless on whether you are there or not? Talk to me, y'all. I want to know, because I'm telling y'all, if you do not have a system that literally documents from the moment that you figure out what your job is going to be for them to the moment that you onboard them, if you don't have a hiring kit or an onboarding portal in place, you're running behind. Okay? So talk to me. I want to know, do you guys already have a documented onboarding system or just a documented hiring kit? Like if somebody, from the moment that you get that resume, you pull out your binder or you pull out your folder or you go into your drive or whatever the case like that may be, and somebody else in your business, your director or manager, can actually do what you do. That's how you know you really got a system and procedure. If somebody can do what you do without you being there, that's how you know you really have a real system. All right? And if you don't, I want to share with you guys basic 3 things that you can do to get that together, okay? Because it is a system of hiring. It is a season of hiring. And even though the workforce is like this, even though the workforce is like just so crazy all over the place, you either in it to win it. Like, and I tell that this is going to be our second go round of surviving a recession. In 2008, we kind of went through that in the childcare industry where the state wasn't paying none of us. Like no childcare workers were not getting paid in 2008. It was a major recession that was going on in the housing market. Every 10 years, the government in the city does the same exact cycle. It's no different, right? And so this will be our second time surviving a recession. So I do believe that the workforce is going to get a little bit more stable. But the question is, are you really ready at a high quality level? So Ms. Melody said, I don't work directly in a center, but programs that do make it easier for national accreditation, you must have a system in place. Yes, and Ms. Melody, that's how I learned, this process and learned this system, guys. I'm going to be honest. I became a director at 20. I owned the childcare program at 20. I'm now 32. I learned a whole lot of things. I used to be like, oh, well, I want to skip through this process of the hiring system because I need her here today, right? Oh, I don't feel like checking references. Oh, I don't feel like calling people in for work interviews. Oh, no. You need to follow the same system, okay? So the first thing I'm going to tell you is you need to make sure that you identify the actual job position that's available. And I know that seems so simple, but some of us, when we're posting, one post on social media is not enough to bring in people. Like, it's not. We have to get back to the day and age of marketing just as heavily offline as we are online. Okay? So having a hiring system and having a place in order, you need to identify what are the hours. You need to know this. Not that when you're talking to people, you're figuring out what hours they can do. No, you need to know what are the hours that's for this role. And the reason why you know what those hours are for this role is because you either understaffed, is either you don't have no floaters, you can't cover lunch, you can't come out the classroom for ratio purposes, or you're always in the classroom because people are calling out or kids are getting sick or things, because that's just the nature of the business, right? So you have to make sure that you identify what the position is, what the roles are, what the pay wage is, or what the pay wage range is, what the roles and the rest. Be transparent, be upfront. That's the best way for you not to waste your time and or candidates' time. Okay? So make sure you identify what the position is, and make sure that you identify, more importantly, really, how are they going to get to you? Right? I see so many times people may post job posts on social media, but don't got no website. There's nowhere for them to apply but to send you a DM. How are we doing that in 2023? Right? We want to make sure that we're operating out of best practice. It doesn't matter how large your facility is. It doesn't matter how small your facility is. You need to have a streamlined, professional, organized manner on hiring. So the first thing you want to do is identify the job, the position, how you're marketing it, and how are you going to receive. That's the first step. Okay? My second step would be you need to create the kit. Whether it's a binder, whether it's a handbook, you need to create the kit, and it needs to be laid out so that not just you can replicate it multiple times. You could be at another center. So if you're like me, I'm a multi-site owner. I'm not always at the same center at the same time. And some of the times I'm not at either of the centers, right? But someone else needs to be able to conduct an interview, and conduct an interview to our standard. Not an interview just off the whim, or not me putting them on the spot. No, conduct an interview off our standard, but you got to provide them the resource. This is where the kit comes in place. So you need to make sure that you lay out step 1 to step 6, or 1 to 5, whatever's your layout, whether it's phone interview, work interview, phone call, job interview, Zoom interview, check-in references, reviewing resume. All of that needs to be laid out, written out. Okay? Not that, call them and do this. No. Someone needs to be able to replicate it. We are in the season of 2023. Your goal should be to take yourself out of the every single day-to-day operations. Okay? And I don't mean take yourself out of the business that you're just out in the world living your best life. No. But if one of your goals is to get another location site in 2023, if you don't have an organized hiring system in one location site, we're working backwards. Okay, you gotta master what you already have. I think that's one of the biggest, I don't know, that's a mistake that we made when we went from one location site to the next location site. We didn't master what we already had. And mastering what you already have is not necessarily your classroom. Your classrooms can look great, but if your office is trash, if your organization is trash, if your level of going back to and monitoring the files and the systems is trash, your business is doomed for failure. And that's just the truth. Your business is doomed for violations. That's just the truth. Because just as important as the classroom is just as important as paperwork is. So I know y'all know when inspectors come in with it, and guess what? It is not even just inspectors. Miss Melody, if she's still on here, she'll tell you accreditation is about paperwork. It's about policies. It's about implementation. It's about the proof that you're actually doing it. It's so many things that go into it, but you got to be able to manage and operate the current paperwork that you have, and that's why you need a system for it. Okay, so create yourself some level of a hire kit and identify step 1. What goes on in step 1? What do you say in step 1? What do you do in step 1? Okay. The other thing that you want to make sure that you do in that other step system is you really, really want to make sure that you're not just identifying all of the steps, but you really want to also make sure that you're also identifying what do they say? What's the script? So if any of y'all know, on my website, I offer a basic phone script. And this is one-on-one. So that people are not answering your phone, hey, how's it going today? That's not the proper way to answer. Right? They're not saying your motto. They're not greeting. They're not announcing themselves. They're not asking how they can help. They're not providing information. They just keeping it simple. Name and phone number. That's not going to do you no justice. Okay? So if you need a phone script, you can head over to the website. There's a phone script there. But I'm talking about the script when your director or your manager or your operations person is calling someone. What questions do they ask on a phone interview? What questions do they ask on a job interview? Is the questions that they ask to a lead teacher the same questions that they ask to an assistant teacher or an aide? Okay? You want to make sure that all of these things are available and they're typed and they're done and they're readily available for use. Not that you got to print one out or you're not ready yet. No, we're no longer operating like that in 2023. And if you are, you're working to become better. Okay? And my last step, which is the most important step in creating that streamlined hiring process, guys, automation. I'm telling y'all, when I literally went from the thought of sitting down with every new person that came into my daycare, sitting down and going over, here's your handbook, We're now going to go over the mission statement, the do's, the don'ts. We're now going to go over how you call out. We're now going to go over PTO. We're now going to go over write-ups. We're going to go over the whole handbook. Imagine how much time does that take you? And especially right now, if you're in the era of hiring, like I hire in twos because you can't just continue to hire like one by one, right? So if you're hiring multiple people and you got multiple sites, the likelihood of you sitting down with the workforce unstable, going back and forth with somebody, going over the same policies and the same procedures is a thing of the past. You need an automated system. You need the same way when you walk into Coca-Cola, UPS, Target, any of these large Fortune 500 companies, is the manager sitting down with you and saying, hey, this is our handbook. This is what we do. This is how it works. No, they're giving you a tour. They're putting you in a room or putting you on some form of a laptop or some form of a screen TV. And what happens? Someone like Ms. Dom come on and say, well, welcome to da-da-da-da-da-da. Today we're going to do your onboarding training about da-da-da-da-da-da. That's what you need. It's automated. Okay? So you need to have your welcome kit and your welcome folder always ready. And the welcome kit is a one-time thing. You don't got to keep printing out the job description, the W-4, the I-9. You don't got to keep printing out all of your policies that they got to individually sign, all your payroll documents. No, you got to create a welcome packet. And that welcome packet should align with your orientation onboarding videos. Okay? So you need to create your own portal. That's what it is. You need to make sure that you're creating your own portal on how you actually bring people into your program. And that is why I'm teaching. Many of you guys have been asking like, oh, when you guys see in the story, how do I hear you with the voiceover on your presentation already done? That is because we have our own onboarding portal. So when someone comes into my facility, whether I'm there or not, my director don't have to sit down with every single person and go over all 3 training videos with them. No, the portal's already done. They get their welcome packet, and this is their one day. So when they come in on day 1, it's just an orientation day. You have to create that onboarding. Wouldn't they love to know what the do's and don'ts are before they get started? Right? Wouldn't they love to know what does engagement and moving around in a classroom look like? What does a day in the life of your classroom look like? Create the training, create the portal. So on March the 18th, I'm having a live Streamline Masterclass. Okay? And I'm literally sharing my screen and I'm literally showing y'all how I created our own onboarding portal. And I'm giving y'all the presentations and all the documents to put in your hire kit. Okay? So it takes all the guesswork out for you. Okay? So you don't got to sit down and type from scratch, because I hate typing from scratch. So I know y'all won't hate typing from scratch. Okay? So that is my 3 tips when you're thinking about creating your hiring system. Try to take your business from the space of not knowing what you're hiring for and you making their schedules around them, to creating your hiring kit, which is all 6 steps, laid out documents, blank forms already available. Okay, I'm going to teach you that in the masterclass and actually show you my own binder and give you all the forms. And then you want to make sure that you create a automated system. Okay, I'm telling you, automated. When I did that automated system, literally for my client, it changed the game. She was like, Madame, the thought of me sitting down or even giving that barrier to my director to sit down and go over all of the policies, all of the paperwork. No, they should be able to come in, have their welcome folder ready, and just like how the Fortune 500 companies do it, here's the training, here's the information video. I'm going to give you all the nuggets. Your mission statement, your policies, your procedures, your routines, your call outs, your sick policy, all how they clock in, how they clock out, your payroll. Those are things that don't change. Like, you may change a thing or two, but once they get all the basics, they got to get the basics. And what are we doing? Us as providers, we're rushing the basics. Why? Because we busy covering other classrooms. We're busy with call-outs. We're busy with work shortages. Yes, we already need them in our facility, but you got to onboard them properly. And it took me almost like I'm going to be honest, it took me almost like about 2 months to actually implement what I learned. Because first I had to type up all the steps. I had to get all the forms ready, and then I had to duplicate it for multiple sites because the system got to be the same, just like Chick-fil-A. The system got to be the same across the board. So once I created the binder itself, then I gave it to my director to run all the copies for multiple binders at multiple sites. But then it took me like another 2 to 3 months to take everything that I wanted to teach a new person and actually create the presentation, voice it over, create all the videos, and create our onboarding portal. Once I created our own onboarding portal, I no longer had to sit down with them and then we have 3 training videos. I no longer had to sit down with them and go over the employee handbook. I no longer had to sit down with them and go over the day-to-day operations. I no longer had to sit down. I literally made an entire training on a day in the life. Once I implemented those 3 videos, and then after that, my director, manager, or me sat down with them and asked them if they had questions or anything they're not sure about, or maybe a policy had changed. We've had this onboarding system going on 6 years now. And when I tell you, I no longer get, like, anybody ever used to get anxiety about hiring people, like, oh my God, I gotta hire somebody else. I gotta sit down with her. I gotta go over this. You're rushing, and you can't rush their process just because you're tired of hiring. You got to give them the same quality. You got to inform them of the same things. And so that's why you need an automated onboarding portal that's specific for your childcare program. And that's exactly why I'm teaching a master. I'm going to be honest, guys. I used to only give out these gems and this information only in my 6-week group coaching program. I never taught this system outside of this master class that's dropping March the 18th. And it's live on Zoom. Because so many of y'all been in my DMs asking me, hey, Ms. How did you do that? How did you create this onboarding system? How do I hear you voice a note? It sounds like you're already there. Because so many of y'all been asking me, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give them exactly what they asked for. Y'all asked for a hiring system and how I created it. I'm teaching y'all in the live 2-hour Zoom session on how to create your own. And I ain't just sharing my screen and showing it. I'm giving y'all all the information. I'm giving y'all all the templates that you can edit them for your own self. So when you get off this masterclass, you should literally be able to print out or edit any document that I give to you from the step 1 to step 6 that you don't like. So all of your job descriptions, your interview questions, all of your reference checks was the proper questions to ask, because you can't ask certain questions when you're doing reference checks. And then your entire welcome kit, okay? All of your W-4, your I-9s, all of that paperwork is going to be in one spot. So you literally should be able to recreate your own hiring kit when you're done the masterclass. And not only should you be able to done and create your own hiring kit, you should also be able to be done creating your own presentations, because it took me 2 months to take everything in my handbook and create the presentations for employee handbook, for our day-to-day operations, like in the classrooms, what's the do's and don'ts, and then also a day in the life of pre-K. So there's 3 different trainings that's given to you, okay? So you can edit them on your own, but you don't got to go through the design. You don't got to go through the looking and typing, because it's already done for you, okay? So you really, really want to make sure. And the master class is only $199, guys. Literally, it's only $199 for all of this information and all of these gems. I'm telling y'all, the hiring system on the automated scale, it really changed my life. I kid you not. Like, I'm telling you, it makes your life so much easier. Yeah, I may not feel like bringing people in. I may not feel like onboarding. We never do, because people may be there today and not there tomorrow. But your time is what's key. Okay? So if anybody have ever had any kind of automated system or any kind of anything in your business, I can guarantee you that it will save you time from the time that you make that phone call all the way, every single step. We're skipping steps, okay? So you can't skip the steps. And then more importantly, you can't get mad when people come in and you are not educating them. You didn't tell them how to call out. You didn't tell them what the sick rule is. You didn't inform them really on your 90-day policy because you were so busy trying to get back to the classroom. Why? Because you're already short-staffed. We all are, okay? So if you want to learn how I created that streamlined system of automation, and this is a gem, because again, I literally don't teach this. I don't even teach this on a one-on-one. I literally only just teach it in my group coaching program, or I've done it. I've literally created the whole portal for clients for their actual individual program. But I figured, hey, Y'all keep asking me, I'm going to give it to y'all in a one-on-one Zoom class specifically on streamlining your onboarding. Hey, little legacy. So hopefully that answered your question. If y'all got questions, drop them down. I have not been on live in a minute, so y'all got me today, okay? But that's why I got on here, to tell you guys about my systems and how going from having my laptop crash to having those online systems and having those iCloud-based programs, or cloud-based programs, not iCloud, but cloud-based programs, how I literally picked up from where I left off at on the old laptop to the new laptop. It's literally just like re-signing in to your old laptop with all the systems, okay? But the hiring system for the workforce, you need to just do those basic 3 things. So whether you guys sign up for the webinar or not, the basic 3 things is figure out step 1, what your job description is, where are you posting it, how are you marketing it? Do not post a post on social media and there is nowhere for them to go. Do not boost a post on social media and there's nowhere for them to go. Like if you boost a post and the only actually call to action that they're going to do is send you a DM about the job, we got to do better. Why? Because we should be operating out of excellence. I don't care how small or big your childcare program is. You need to operate out of excellence. How many times do people call you? I was calling to see how much is this job for? How much are you paying? What are the requirements? What are the roles? Have that done and laid out. And many of the times we don't have it done and laid out because you're just hoping that somebody call and they tell you, like, oh, well, I can only do from this time. That's not going to work because I need Susie in this class covering this snaps for this reason. I need extra floaters on Monday and Friday for this reason. Okay? And truth be told, I always tell this hiring system that we created is not only for childcare centers. Kid you not. So I have an aunt that has a tag place, like a auto tag place. And in that space, she's constantly hiring. I have another person that has a home health aid care agency. And she asked me, she's like, Dom, the system that you're teaching for the hiring class, can I do that for another business? Yes. Okay, you can take the same system that I'm going to teach you in how to create that hiring kit. Hiring is hiring. It don't matter whether you hiring a hairdresser, whether you hiring someone to work at your beauty salon, whether you're hiring someone to work in a limousine company. It doesn't matter. You're still hiring. But the problem is you're not documenting the actual procedures. And you're hiring because you should not be the only person in your business that can do it. That's just the bottom line. Like I never forget because I was so scared. I remember one time I created the kit and I'm like, all right, great. It's there. I got it at both centers. And I'm like, dang, is she really going to be able to, do this? Is this really going to be able to, be replicated? And drop your question down in the chat box because I don't want it to scroll up. Is she really going to be able to, do this and do that? And I'll never forget. I totally forgot I had an interview, guys. I was somewhere else. I think I was at the other site or I was moving around and I totally forgot. This is when I used to do in-person only interviews. And, I totally forgot I had an interview at that site. And so who's going to do the interview? I'm not there. My teachers are not going to do it. My director is there. But guess what? Your girl has spent 3 to 4 months creating the hire kit and creating the onboarding training. So the moment that person walked in, what you think I did? I said, hey, go to that hiring kit, grab that binder, look at step 1. What does step 1 say? She said, oh, step 1 says, make sure you welcome them in, take their jacket off, give them their welcome folders with all of their benefits as to why to work here, blah, blah, blah. Give them all of that information. Okay, what's step 2? Step 2 is make a copy of all of their documents. Make sure that you get them to fill out a basic job application so you have it for future reference. All of the steps was laid out. When I tell y'all, I pulled over that day. I pulled over that day because for once, I actually felt like a system that I tried to implement into my small childcare program actually worked. Like she was literally able to be successful with that interview without me being there. Do you know how good of a feeling that is? Like just imagine that other people in your business can do things that you want them to do. Okay? All right, let's see. So the Greens lesson said, do we need to have a center and a handbook to enroll? No, you do not. So the program, and honestly, guys, I'm glad you asked that question. You want to have it if you're already starting. Like the thought, I was literally just talking about this in a YouTube video we was making all our YouTube videos today. So I literally was talking about this in a YouTube video with our content person. And I was saying that if I had the mentors and coaches that I had now at 32 that I had when I was 20 years old, being a brand new entrepreneur, like all these coaches and all of these mentors for any industry, it was not like that. And if I could have had this hiring kit way before then, I wouldn't have been running around constantly looking for this job description and looking for these interview questions because I only used one and made the last copy because I'm always thinking small, right? So no, you don't need to have a center and you don't need to have a handbook. Actually, the employee handbook template is given in the course. It's given in the masterclass, guys. So you don't need to have a handbook and you don't need to have a center. Okay? What you do need to have is creativity because the handbook itself is a template and it's given to you so you can make it your own. You can take what's already in there. All of the language is done for you. It's almost like a 35-page handbook. Actually, I think it's more pages than that, but it's a 35-page handbook and it's done for you. So you don't have to have a center. If you don't have a center and you're thinking about opening a center or, getting your nuggets and your ducats in order, this is really going to be a great masterclass because it's going to tell you and teach you what you need to know on how to manage people. And it's going to teach you how to bring people into your program the high quality way from the beginning. That you don't got to go through all of the mistakes like I done made on not checking references or just skipping over all the steps or not making sure that certain degrees were real and not fake. I didn't see it all, y'all. I didn't see it all. I didn't experience it all. I'm sure I'll experience more things as we get further into year 20 of being a child care owner. But for the most part, I didn't see it all and experience it all. And a lot of it went back to me skipping over my systems. And this is the great thing I want to tell y'all that I learned the hard way. Believe it or not, so hopefully great lessons that answer your question if you're still on here. So believe it or not, hey Princess Educator, hey Miss Shawana. Hopefully, believe it or not, guys, you wouldn't believe this, and I always teach this. You are being interviewed. It's that simple. Like literally, you are being interviewed. So you think that you're the only one doing the interview. Like, okay, come in. If your office look a mess, you're being judged. Okay? If your office is all over the place, you're being judged. If you have an interview and you can't find your interview questions or you don't have nothing to give a candidate, like nobody should walk out the door empty-handed. I don't care. Hey, Mentee, nobody should walk out the door empty-handed. If you are not ready to interview someone, if you cannot get your hands on your hiring kit, you're being interviewed. So don't think that it's just that you're doing the interview the same way you're making judgments. Because I know I got some directors on here that are like, I know by minute number 10 whether I'm going to welcome her back for a work interview or whether I'm going to hire her or not hire her. Right? So but it's the same thing when they're doing interviews. They're judging you based off of how well prepared you are. So the best thing that you can do in your childcare program is make sure you create a hiring system. Because I remember I used to wait to hire people because I'm only going to be here at this center, or I don't got this ready yet, or I got to make multiple copies of their hiring, welcome package. I don't have the handbook copy yet. I can't even find a handbook. It's not updated. Like so many things. I don't got their payroll forms ready. Like all of these things I never had in one spot. And I never had them because I was always too busy and I never took the time to actually create the system. And once I actually created the streamlined onboarding system, it made my life that much easier. Does that mean people don't quit or come and go? No, but it makes my life easier. I don't feel like I'm never not prepared. My presentations and my onboarding portal, and I'm going to be honest, I got about 2 clients specifically that I personally created their actual portal for them. Okay. Do I create them directly for childcare programs anymore? No. I teach you how to do it on your own. It was half a fraction of the cost. So if my one mentee is still on here, I created her whole onboarding system for her. Okay. But I'm going to teach you how to do it on your own for a fraction of the cost for $199. But I kid you not, You don't rarely see too many childcare programs that you walk into and they actually have a onboarding portal or an onboarding system automated teaching you literally what their program is about. Okay? What happens? We're busy. We sit them down in the middle of lunch. We might sit them down at the end of the day. We might finally get to them after a week and give them their paperwork. No. In 2023, we are operating out of excellence. We are operating out of preparation. We are operating out of excellence in that space of being prepared. So when you walk away from this masterclass, you will have all of the papers. So you don't even got to retype the 6 steps. The 6 steps are typed and done for you. Okay? You don't even got to create the presentation and take 2 months. Literally, it took me 2 months. I literally was in my handbook retyping or copying and pasting and taking out every single thing. Okay? So you will have the 2 presentations that's already done for you so that you can, all you have to do is voice over. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. And you're going to have all of the things you need to actually create your kit, your 6-step kit. All right, let's see. Another question. Can we edit it in Canva? Yeah, you can edit it in Canva. So if you know how to operate Canva or you have Canva Pro, some options. So the presentations are done in PowerPoint, guys. They're automatically done in PowerPoint. You can edit them in PowerPoint to match your, like what's specifically in your handbook. So like, let's say that you already have a handbook that you like. Ideally, most childcare program handbooks are similar. All the topics are in there. So you can edit it in PowerPoint. You'll be able to edit it in PowerPoint. But if you have Canva Pro, many times you can upload a current PowerPoint presentation into Canva. Now, will it align with the type of Canva that you have? That depends on your type of Canva. Okay, but you can edit it on a Google Doc, and you'll be able to edit it in regular Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay, but the only thing is that when you're uploading it into the actual portal, you're gonna have to save it as a PDF anyway. So I'm going to be sharing my screen and teaching y'all that in the actual masterclass. Okay, so hopefully that answered your question. Miss Shauna said, "I want this." I don't think I pinned it. Let me see. Can I pin it? This Instagram and the way that it is. Yeah, so let me pin it right here. All right. So you guys want to go to www.educatedminds.com and click on the tab that says webinar registration. It's March the 18th. It's for 2 hours and it's on a Saturday. All right. I don't like teaching classes on weekends. Why not? On weekdays in the evening. Why not? For the simple fact, guys, I'm tired just like y'all. And I want to make sure that when you guys are learning, that you're really learning out of a fresh brain. So the webinar is going to be 11 a.m. to 1 o'clock. If any of y'all been on my webinars before, y'all know I might over talk about 30 minutes. That's just how I am. But it's going to be live Q&A on Zoom. And I'm actually going to be walking you through the 6-step process. And I'm going to be giving you all of the things you need to make your own binder system. And I'm going to be giving you the presentation so you don't got to type. The thought of like, dang, I done took this class and now everything she taught, I gotta type from scratch. No. Templates is what saves my life, so I'm gonna give them to y'all too. Okay? So hopefully that answered your questions. But just in the space, really, guys, of systems, you just want to make sure you have those 3 things. Identify where you're marketing it at. Have a landing space for them to apply, okay? Because how many times do you check your voicemails or people are calling, asking you about a job, and you in the middle of cooking lunch, you in the middle of answering the door, or you're in the middle of covering naps, you're in the middle of doing something, so you can't really give them, you might be rushing it, like, yes, we're hiring, okay, just email me your resume, and you never hear from them again. Instead of saying, okay, well, did you log onto our website and fill out the job application? I'm telling y'all, many a times, if I've spoke with people and I've gotten their contact information, if they did not fill out a job application and they called in directly, that lets me know 1 or 2 things. Either A, you're just calling and you want to go through the easy space, or B, you don't know how to follow directions. I look for those things because details matter, right? Consistency matters. Taking an initiative matters. These are things that I talk about when we're talking in our hiring process, that you can teach the job. You can hire for the job, but you cannot hire character. You cannot hire attitude. Okay? So these are basic things, but if you have nowhere for them to go or nowhere for them to land for you to collect the information, then really you're doing them a disservice. And you're doing yourself a disservice because you done spent $150 on Facebook marketing or Instagram marketing by everybody that's clicking, but you have nowhere to take them. And then if they only can send you a DM with their resume, that's not professional, right? Or if you're not there and you tell your director, could you give them a call and get some insight before you actually schedule? Because you want to do some level of a phone interview before you do an interview, because interviews can waste your time too. I need to ask these specific questions. Because if you can't get these specific questions right, then, or these specific questions, then that means that you already are not qualified for this position. We have to stop making our positions fit everybody's individual lives and make sure that the positions are fitting what you need for your childcare program, the needs of your children, the needs of your center, the hours of your center. Not that she get out of school at 1 and you need her to be there by 1, and now nap coverages, and then you out of ratio, but you're desperate. Okay? So make sure, for all those people that's been asking me, how can I teach you how to create an automated hiring system that you tap into this masterclass? Because I'm teaching it one time and one time only. Okay? Look, Legacy said yes. Yes. Y'all hear people, they be like, yes. Okay? It's true. Alright? I'm telling y'all, it's just in the space of like hiring, and that's one of the things I talked about in my YouTube video. It'll be dropping on Sunday. So any of y'all that's not on the YouTube, I'm telling y'all like these lives, y'all gonna love the YouTube channel. Because I don't always get on lives like that anymore. I'm really more on the YouTube space and in my YouTube platform. So make sure y'all subscribe over there at the YouTube channel. The link is in my bio so you can stay connected. But that's where I really drop more detailed videos and more detailed information outside of Instagram. But it's so true. I can tell you, I think one of the biggest mistakes, and I know I got some directors and owners on here, the biggest mistake I could say I made in my hiring process was making the job fit the person, and I knew it didn't. I knew it wasn't going to work. Based off of their answers, I was like trying to conform their answers to fit because I was desperate. Another big mistake I could say I made is on our end is that I wasn't ready many times when people were coming in for interviews. Why? Because anytime anybody was available for interview, I was bringing them in this day, this day, this day. No, I kind of started doing what? No, these are the days that I do interviews, and these are the hours. I used to do interviews 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Why? Because that's when they get off their current job. No. If you want the job, you'll make it work. Just like anything else in life. Okay? So I think that's one of the biggest mistakes I can say that I made on our end is not being prepared and not being ready for the hire. Like, we all have good intentions. Yes, we want to teach them, and yes, we want to do these things, but in our reality, somebody come in, you ready for them to go. You ready for them to like, look, I need you to do this, I need you to do that, I need you to, but then when they call out and they text you on your call out, you're mad, but you didn't tell them that in orientation. When they show up without their uniform, you didn't tell them about that on your orientation. When you didn't talk to them about your discipline procedures and what write-ups are the first time you write them up, they shocked and confused. Why? Because you didn't go over your disciplinary procedures. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. And sometimes in your mind, you be thinking like, dang, I know I don't think I actually meant, because you can see all of someone's face that you didn't share that information with them, and you didn't share it because you didn't want to. You shared it because you forgot, because you were rushing. But if you could just take the time to not rush and onboard properly all of the areas, not just the handbook, but also the classroom, also how to release children, also how to communicate with parents, also why there is a 3-time exchange conversation rule, also what supervision looks like. You just get in this classroom. Yes, okay? So you want to make sure, and I know Little Legacy knows what I'm talking about when it comes to the hiring system. She was my client that I was talking about, guys, that I created the system for her, and I know it just makes onboarding that much easier, and you feel better as an owner. Like, we may be the ones doing the actual interviews, but your director and your management, they're the one training them. They're the one that got to keep going over the same handbook, the same policy, the same procedure. Sometimes they could get training, so we don't mention everything, okay? So if I got any more questions, drop them down below. the masterclass. Miss Shauna, go over to the website. Right there, guys, on webinar registration, it's $199. I'm teaching it live on Saturday, March the 18th, okay? For 2 hours, really 2.5. Y'all know I'm Miss Dom can talk. I said I was only doing this live for like 30 minutes, and here I am for an hour, okay? So if y'all like this live, or if y'all like more where it came from, make sure that you guys tap into the live seamless hiring onboarding system, okay? All right? All the details are on there on how you can hire. All the details are on there on how we're going to streamline, what I'm going to teach you. What time does the class start? 11 a.m. EST. Okay? And I have not yet decided if there will be a replay because I personally really like teaching live. Okay? So it's going to be live March the 18th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. I do have people that have purchased the actual class and they're like, I'm not going to be able to be there. Maybe your kid got soccer or something. They will get sent the replay with all the documents because they paid for the registration. Okay? So if you guys are interested in the masterclass, I'm sharing it. I'm dropping it March 18th live on Saturday. Okay? At 11 a.m. It is $199 for the masterclass. You will get 2 presentations that go along with it. And you will also get all of your hire kits. Nobody that takes this class, I'm telling y'all, nobody that takes this class, if I check in with y'all a month from now, it literally will be done. Literally. We just got finished up our 3-month one-on-one. So we do VIP one-on-one coaching. And I literally was teaching this to my one-on-one client or whatever. And literally just last Friday, I had a problem, and guys, I'm telling y'all, I love when I actually see my clients actually put in the work and really do what I teach them, because they be like, oh my God, I can't believe I did it. And then they be like, oh, Miss Tom, guess what? I put on my hire kit today, and I'll be hyped. Why? Because I remember being hyped. I remember getting when I had the kit ready, and I'm like, oh, all right, let me go to step 1. Stuff ready, office cleaned, all the great good stuff is done. And then when I onboarded them, the welcome folders was ready, all the papers was there. And what did I do? I set them right in front of that computer in a nice designated space with a bottle of water in their folder. And when they got done, then I sat down with them and asked them if they had any specific questions, or I shared with them if anything had changed, because our portal is almost like about 5 years old now. That's how, maybe almost, it's going on 7 years actually that we've had that portal. So it's been a minute, okay? So if y'all trying to get y'all life together, if y'all trying to get y'all onboarding systems more organized so you're not printing out forms at the last minute or copying stuff, trying to put welcome kits and all that great good stuff, you feel like corporate. She said yes. And I'm so glad you say that, Little Legacy, right? Because I'm glad that she said that, because when you say you feel like corporate, I think that's one of the biggest, I know that was the biggest complex that I used to feel like, oh, you know, we just have a small daycare. I don't care whether your daycare is small or big or indifferent. You have to operate like a large corporation. And I learned that through accreditation. I learned that once we started getting real grant money, like getting real 6-figure grants, that's when I learned like, oh, this is how they do it. Oh, this is how you stay prepared. Oh, this is why they have trainings. No, we have to get out of our minds and get out of that complex that, oh, I'm just a small daycare. So what? I don't care whether you got 10 kids or whether you got 35 kids or 55 kids. Operate out of excellence. That's what I was making one of my YouTube videos about today as a family. We come from family childcare. Just because you're a family childcare based program or you're small, you might be licensed for 17 kids, 25 kids. Just because your license capacity is small does not mean that you don't operate your business out of excellence. Doesn't mean that you don't operate your business out of high quality. Okay? Doesn't mean that you don't operate your business out of systems. I'm telling you, the systems that when we created our first binders, and this is our second binder set system, but when we created our first onboarding, I was amazed. I was like, yo, and the thought of bringing somebody in, I felt so confident. Look, I'm going to sit you down right here. Here's our onboarding training. We have 3 trainings. Here's your welcome folder. I'll be back in a little bit to check on you. And when I tell you, they got on that camera and they got onto that onboarding system and they heard me say, well, welcome to Yolanda's Kids Corner Childcare Center. Today's going to be the day that we are going to now discuss your onboarding training. The first thing we're going to do is talk about our core values. I was walking out the office feeling like, yes, Operate out of corporate. Operate out of excellence. Stop thinking small. Just because your business is small doesn't mean your practices have to be small. Doesn't mean your practices have to be shortcut. Okay? So everything that I've learned in the onboarding space that took me like 5 months to actually create, because I was the one literally, what they say, okay? How about, y'all don't even got to do none of that, because I'm taking all the guesswork, all the language, it's going to be done for you. Okay? So if y'all want to join this masterclass, make sure y'all tap in with me on March the 18th live on Zoom. Okay? Live on Zoom on March the 18th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to be teaching you guys and sharing my screen exactly how we do all of our professional, high corporate, like Little Legacy said, in an onboarding, high quality space. And guess what? The system's also going to help you for your accreditation. Because you know that in the accreditation space, there's a section that says job descriptions, and it's a section that says employee performance appraisals, that they gotta match the job description. My star 3 and 4 people know what I'm talking about. All right. So if you are trying to climb that high quality of excellence and create those systems in your childcare program, this is the masterclass that you want to be in. All right. So let me go, because I said I was only gonna be on here. If y'all got a question, drop it down really, really quickly. Hey, Philly Fresh. Hey, Uralis. Drop them down, or you can send me a DM. I'll be in a DM for about 5 minutes as I wrap up from this office today. All right? But I hope y'all enjoyed this. If not, make sure that y'all tap into my YouTube channel, guys, and subscribe, because that is really where I'll be dropping more of the videos at long term. I don't do lives as much as I used to on Instagram. I'm usually on YouTube now. So make sure that y'all subscribe to my YouTube channel at Educated Minds. All right? Have a good night. So sprinkle my great good energy, and I will see y'all live on the masterclass March the 18th.